Hello, welcome to Hope Matters, a production of Mount Olive Lutheran Church in Santa Monica, California. I'm Pastor Shafer, the senior pastor here at Mount Olive, and we're so pleased that you joined us for this weekly program where we talk to interesting people from around the community and around the nation, even around the world, about the theme of hope, because we believe that hope matters. My guest today is Sarah Wilson, who is Executive Director of Harvest Home Los Angeles, which is a residential program that serves homeless pregnant women and their babies, and does a lot more than that too. So welcome, Sarah. So glad you could be with us.
Thank you so much for having me join you today.
So tell us a little bit about Harvest Home Los Angeles, which is harvesthomela.org for those of you who would like to look them up.
Yeah, absolutely. So, in a nutshell, you said we're a residential program. We walk alongside pregnant women who are experiencing homelessness. And that's during the time that they're preparing to have their babies, and then after their babies are here. And then we have an alumni program that continues to walk with women as they're living more independently. And we get to be a family of sorts to the women in our program. So we have a residential home in Venice. We've been there since 1985. And then later this year, we're very excited to be opening a second home in more in the central LA area. So, we serve this mission of pregnant women, which is very specific. But the reality is there are thousands of women, almost 5,000 pregnant women a year in Los Angeles who experience homelessness, and there are fewer than 100 shelter beds. And so we kind of fill this niche need, and it's a time in a woman's life where there is so much opportunity, both for her life and her future and for the babies. And so we love getting to be in that season with a woman.
Wonderful. How many women can you house at this point?
Yeah, so through our home in Venice, we can serve up to 10 women at a time, generally about 20 to 25 women a year, depending on due dates and how long women stay. And then as we open up our new home, we'll be able to serve an additional 18 women. So we're nearly tripling with that.
Wonderful. That's just grand. So what do you see now as you look at the situation for homeless pregnant women? And it's not really that separate from the whole issue of homelessness. What do you see as the greatest challenges we're facing in this area?
Well, as I mentioned, specifically for pregnant women, there is that lack of resources, lack of shelter beds. So many shelter communities, for one reason or another, are unable to serve pregnant women. For some, I think there's that liability question. For some, there's a safety question. For others, there's that, we really want women to be in a stable place if they're having a baby, and they don't allow children in a shelter. And so they want to help, women to get to a more stable place before that, and they aren't able to serve them there. So certainly just sheer lack of resources. But I think what we're seeing more and more, and I know this intersects, as you said, with homelessness in general, is this idea of the working poor, that, so many times when people think of homelessness, they think of a more chronically homeless population of people that have been living on the streets maybe for a lifetime. And certainly we do have women walk through our doors who have been in this situation for maybe a longer season in life. But more and more we have women that have been couch surfing or living in a car or in an unstable living situation, or have been in an overcrowded maybe family situation, and that baby on the way is what's going to kind of put the capacity over for a family. And this idea that the women we serve are often usually women that are wanting to work, to build their careers, to be independent, and just how challenging it is to be among the working poor in an expensive city like Los Angeles. And so, that I feel like is one of the biggest challenges that everyone who is seeking to help empower and equip, homeless individuals experiences as well.
So not only do you become a protected place, you become a job finding place for these people.
Yeah, I mean, we take a really holistic approach. So we have 5 program areas. Spiritual growth is one of those. We are a Christian organization. So spiritual growth, but that financial independence. So that would be anything that's building their employability or their financial management skills, certainly parenting, physical health, and then mental and emotional health. So, we really aim to wrap a woman in all of those areas and to support them when their goals that they're setting in those areas.
Wonderful. So if a viewer is watching this and doesn't know anything about Harvest Home, this is their first knowledge of it, how can they help you?
Well, we love our community, and we love to engage folks in our community into the work of Harvest Home, and that can look like a number of different things. I mean, certainly we are always welcoming more, financial supporters. You'd never meet an executive director out there that doesn't welcome that financial support. That is very specific for us right now as we are opening this new home and finishing out a campaign to help not only fund the construction, but 3 years of the operating expenses up front for that. So financial support is certainly a huge need that we have right now. And I always like to say every dollar makes a difference, because it really does. Every dollar makes a difference in the lives of these moms and babies. But then certainly volunteer support as well is a huge need for us. And certainly in Venice and in our existing home there, we have opportunities. But as we open this new home, there'll be more and more opportunities there. And so you mentioned our website, harvesthomela.org, and we have more information about volunteer opportunities there as well.
And you do receive some goods too from people. There are on your website, there's a list of things that you need, new things, not used things.
Yeah, well, we do. So we have actually an Amazon wish list that is linked through our website. And then we do receive some gently used baby items and maternity items. I always like to say, if you wouldn't give it to a girlfriend, don't give it to us. If you wouldn't pass it on to a family friend. I think sometimes in general, we have this idea of passing on the junk maybe to those that are in need instead of the good things. And so, and we do great things from our community, but those are items we actually put into we call our baby boutique. And it's a place where women earn education points and they can kind of purchase all of the items that they need for their babies.
Right. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So you're in the business of providing hope for these women. So Sarah, you've been doing this for what, 13 years, 15 years? You've been doing this for a while. What brings you hope in your life, in your work? When you get up in the morning, what brings you hope?
Well, what brings me the most hope is change, is transformation. And I actually was in church ministry for about a decade before I started in this work here at Harvest Home. And that's what our work in the church is all about, right? Is transformation and seeing changes in people's lives. And that is that's what I love most about what happens at Harvest Home, and the change that we see there is women come in sometimes hopeless, sometimes not even having that hope that their future could change. Sometimes women come in with that spark of hope. Sometimes that baby is the spark of hope. It's the baby is the change agent of, my life was headed in this way, and I'm realizing, like, I didn't think I had a reason to make a change in my life. I didn't think I mattered to anybody. And suddenly, even if my life doesn't feel like it matters to me, it matters to this baby. And this future and my future, are now intertwined with this baby. And so I love that. That brings me hope. I always look at the parable of the sower and those seeds being planted. And that's how I view our work at Harvest Home is, we are planting seeds every day. And we don't always get to see, what comes of those seeds. Thankfully, I mean, we have been around 35 years now. And so we do have that joy of staying connected. We actually had a graduate, a 23-year-old young man who was born at Harvest Home, who graduated from Stanford last year. And we love when we get to see those seeds, right, to see the flourishing. But what I love about that scripture about sowing seeds is at the end, you go through all these things that the birds, come and peck away some, and some, the sun, they don't, some don't take root, and some the sun burns them out. But that at the end it says, but those that do take root, those that do flourish, it's 30, 60, and 100 times that what was planted. And that is, I think, what brings me so much hope in the day to day, is that I am one person. Our team is, we can only do so much, but that we really are in this partnership with God, and that He has and holds these ladies and these babies and these families in His hands, and that He is ultimately in charge and responsible for, where these lives go. And so I just think it's an honor and a joy to get to be a small part and a sliver of these women's lives and these babies' lives. And I've been at Harvest Home 8 years now, and being able to feel like a part of the families of, the women who have come through our program and their babies. That it's just an amazing thing. So that's what brings me hope.
Wonderful. That's very good. Thank you so much. Thanks. And thank you for being with us this week on Hope Matters, Sarah. It's a pleasure to meet you. You were recommended by a mutual friend, and I'm so glad that you took the time to be with us. This has been Hope Matters, a production of Mount Olive Lutheran Church in Santa Monica, California. My guest this week has been Sarah Wilson, the Executive Director of Harvest Home, LA, a residential program that serves homeless pregnant women and their children. And we're so pleased that you were with us today, Sarah. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And we'll see you again next week on Hope Matters, because we believe that hope matters, and we believe in the God of hope.